Hello, my name is Grady P. Brown, author of the Young Guardian series, and I wanted to make a video regarding an analysis that I've been developing for this season of Game of Thrones. And based on the information that I received, it's a lot of big things are about to happen. For instance, you all know how the Mad King Aerys Targaryen II planned to incinerate King's Landing with wildfire and planted caches of it throughout the city. This prompted his Kingsguard, Sir Jaime Lannister, to murder him. And if you recall, when Bran Stark was having a vision of the past, present, and future while he was fleeing from the White Walkers, we got to see an explosion of wildfire underground. And this gave me an idea. Well, quite a few ideas, in fact. Apparently, there hasn't been a wildfire explosion underground yet that we know of. With this in mind, it's possible that Bran Stark was seeing the future of events yet to come. And based on recent events in King's Landing, as of the latest episode called No One, King Tommen Baratheon I banned trial by combat, which was Cersei Lannister's only hope of surviving her trial. And with that out of the way, she will become desperate. And when she does, she'll do something stupid. After that, things will turn nasty. How this will unfold? I think I know the answer. Earlier in the season, she assigned Qyburn, a disgraced maester, as the new Master of Whisperers, and sent his little birds throughout the Seven Kingdoms in order to gather intelligence. And at the end of the latest episode, No One, he mentioned an old rumor that he was sent to investigate, and that it was much more than a rumor. With this in mind, and in Cersei's desperate state, I suspect that his little birds have uncovered Aerys Targaryen II's stockpile of wildfire spread throughout King's Landing. And knowing Cersei, who is power-hungry and, in my opinion, a little insane, she would rather burn King's Landing to the ground than lose all of her power. And in earlier seasons, we see Daenerys Targaryen in a vision in the House of the Undying of the Red Keep of King's Landing in ruins and in snow. This could be either a foreshadowing of the White Walker invasion when they breached the wall, or this could be the result of the wildfire explosion we see underground in Bran's vision. In either case, I think this will be how King's Landing will become a ruin. So, when Daenerys Targaryen does eventually cross the Narrow Sea, she'll be going to King's Landing expecting a fight, but will end up finding a smoking ruin instead, the very city that her ancestors built. And speaking of Daenerys Targaryen, who is the love of my life, to be frankly honest, currently the city of Meereen is under siege from the slavers of Astapor, Yunkai, and Volantis. And so far, she has the numbers that she has been searching for all this time. 8,000 unsullied, 2,000 mercenaries, and over 100,000 Dothraki, adding up to a grand total of 110,000 men. She has the numbers to take back the Seven Kingdoms, but she does not yet have the means to transport them across the sea. In addition, her dragons are now fully grown and big enough to cause massive damage. But in order to cross the Narrow Sea, she must first defeat the slavers. And even though and here comes the problem. Even though Daenerys's dragons are fully grown and can cause serious damage to the slaver fleet, they are only 3 of them, and it's been proven during the War of Conquest of Aegon Targaryen I that fleets can be problematic for dragons, like in the fleet of the Vale. With this in mind, it's possible that Daenerys will receive help from her first official vassal, the renegade Yara and Theon Greyjoy, and their percentage of the Iron Fleet. After losing the King's Moot to their uncle Euron Greyjoy, Theon and Yara Greyjoy flee with the majority of the Iron Fleet, and were last seen in Volantis, which is not too far away from Slaver's Bay. So I think they're gonna deploy a sneak attack on the Slaver fleet by sea. And because Ironborn excel at sea warfare, and are experts at hijacking and plundering ships, they might not only defeat the slavers, but also hijack some of their ships as well, which would give Daenerys both the fleet and additional numbers to add to her army. And now on to Jon Snow. I have a theory revolving around Jon Snow and I suspect, like some fans, that he is not the bastard son of Lord Eddard Stark. Instead, it's possible that he is the son of Lyanna Stark and Daenerys' oldest brother, Rhaegar Targaryen. The reason for this is based on the facts that we know about Lyanna's interaction with Rhaegar. After a tourney in Harrenhal, Rhaegar abducted Lyanna Stark for reasons unknown, and was taken to the Tower of Joy in Dorne. And Rhaegar stationed Kingsguard at the Tower of Joy, including their best warrior, Arthur Dayne, and their Lord Commander, Gerald Hightower. With this in mind, the Kingsguard are sworn to protect the royal family. So why would Rhaegar Targaryen have the Kingsguard best warrior and their Lord Commander guard a woman who is not of royal blood? The possibility of this is that Rhaegar and Lyanna secretly married and had a child together, and that child would be of royal blood. So those Kingsguard were probably assigned to the Tower of Joy to protect Rhaegar's child. And when Lord Ned Stark and his bannermen came to the Tower of Joy to rescue Lyanna, only Ned and Howland Reed survived the battle with the Kingsguard. And then they found Lyanna near death for currently unknown reasons. And my theory is that she was dying of childbirth. That's probably what she meant by "Promise me, Ned" in the books. She was probably making Ned promise to take care of her son, who may be Jon Snow. And in order to protect Jon Snow from Robert Baratheon, who was insanely in love with Lyanna and hated Rhaegar, as well as the Lannisters, who killed Rhaegar's other children, Ned Stark made everyone else believe that Jon Snow was his bastard son. And the only other person who knows the truth besides Ned Stark is Howland Reed. So if he were to step forward with this knowledge, and bolstered by Bran Stark's knowledge of the past, present, and future, Then Jon Snow may be a legitimate heir to the Iron Throne, and which he can now claim since his death during the mutiny of the Night's Watch, freedom of his Night's Watch vows. Overall, I look forward to see if any of these theories are correct. So, fingers crossed, and I'll speak to you again. And remember, the night is dark and full of terrors.